Hello and welcome. You tuned to The Leg Up, your weekly thoroughbred preview show with just a little bit extra in the bag as well. Usual suspects in studio joining me, Paul Maoate and Stephen Hunt. Morning, Paul. You excited for tomorrow?
Very much so, yeah. Cox Plate Day, Manikato Day.
Manikato Day, not Manikato night
tomorrow. No, so we don't have to stay up until 11:30 on a Friday night.
Yeah. Old guys like us, we can't handle it.
To see Imperatriz go around and give the Aussies one more.
Yeah, well, she should be doing it. She's pretty short on.
She is very short. The boys have kept her very, very safe. Hasn't stopped punters, though. They're quite keen to jump in there. What, around $1.45 at the moment?
Yeah, exactly. And we're deserving of that price of what we've seen of her at the Valley. Morning, Stephen. How are you?
Morning, Thaddeus. Very well, very well. No complaints here.
Big weekend last weekend with a sort of an eye to the Guineas, I suppose?
Yeah, I suppose Chris Shetty cemented his position as a clear favourite when it came to the 2000 Guineas. His win in the Sardin was very good. Look, he had things to suit in terms of race shape. Look, the overall speed rating was plus 0.6 lengths versus the class. They've gone out very slow to the 648 and change, which is roughly 8 lengths below class or below open class to the 600. And they've dashed home 34 flat, basically 4.9 lengths above open class. So, look, he was in the prime position. There wasn't too many willing to take him on in terms of leading, and he got the job done, Chris Shetty. So, all going well. He's $1.75 for the 2000 Guineas on the first day of the carnival.
We might be able to have a bit of a discussion about that later in the show, about just a few question marks potentially around Chris Shetty getting a mile, in which camp we are all in. But before we do that, let's head to Hamilton. Say good morning to Brendan Popplewell. Morning, BP.
Yes, good morning, team. Yeah, welcome in. And yeah, it was a great weekend, I thought, out of Te Rapa with what we saw there in Chris Shetty getting the business done in what was superb racing conditions. It was a really lovely warm day. So, yeah, look, we're in the heart of the Melbourne Spring Carnival, though, aren't we, in Cox Plate Day. It's a special day because of the success that we've had as a New Zealand racing industry in the race, and we all hold a special place in terms of a favourite race, and it is one of those races, I think, on the calendar that you look forward to each and every year. It's a special place to watch the race, and you're looking forward to this year's edition of the Cox Plate.
Yep, and as always, we have our man on the ground in Melbourne. Hopefully we can beam him in via satellite. Say good morning to Aidan Rodley. Morning, Aidan. Busy as usual.
Well, we're acting as though we're busy, Thad, you know how it works. Came out to Flemington this morning. We want to get the latest on Prowess ahead of tomorrow's Group 2 Crystal Mile, and she flew in yesterday along with Ladies Man and Mustang Valley. We got up to Macedon Lodge and saw Andrew Forsman and checked in on Mustang Valley. She's travelled in really good order. We'll hear the latest on Prowess this morning as well. So really looking forward to seeing both of them go, and of course outside that, Aprilia goes around that Group 2 Phillies Classic. She was really good last time out. She's a contender in that race again for the Forsman stable. And of course the spotlight for us, even though it's Cox Plate Day, has to be on that Manikato and Imperatriz. Boy, I'm starting to get really nervous because she's so tight. You're hearing the radio reports over here and they're just thinking it's a quaddy anchor, it's a given, it's all this sort of stuff. But as we know, it is a horse race. So we've got our fingers crossed, but we're really hoping that Imperatriz can fly the New Zealand flag over here at Moonee Valley tomorrow.
I'm sure she will, Aidan, but it must be a bit of a different feeling with her being so dominant in this market. And as you say, all that talk about her being literally past the post. It's been an unusual situation for any New Zealand racing fan over there, I would have thought.
Yeah, absolutely. It's crazy, isn't it? And I think she's aiming to, sort of produce more Australian history. Bostonian did win 3 Group 1 sprints in Australia, and outside him, no other horses won that many Group 1 sprints. We just don't have those type of sprinters, New Zealand trained, but we can definitely claim her as a New Zealand trained sprinter, and she is the dominant sprinter. They're saying Australasia, some of them, but most of them are saying, yeah, she's Australia's best sprinter. So we just have to sort of give and take a little bit on her, but hopefully she gets the job done.
Yeah, no doubt. Prowess and Mustang Valley go around in a Crystal Mile, Aidan, and both very, very talented horses, and it'll be great to see them both go around. And Prowess probably got an eye on that last day of the carnival as well.
Yeah, absolutely. To be fair, why don't we just bring in Robert Willwood? We've grabbed him here, and Robert, we'll get the latest on Prowess. How'd she travel over?
Yeah, really well. She sort of got in late Wednesday night, and she settled in really well. She ate and drank well, and couldn't be happier, really.
Did you give her a little spin around Flemington this morning?
Yeah, she went for a quite trot and canter, and the rider was very happy with her. She's bright and well, and yeah.
Okay, a couple of things the boys want to know. Crystal Mile, how will she go?
Look, hoping for a good run. It's only a small field and they can sometimes be quite tactical. She's drawn one, so we're just got to hope that the races run to suit her. But she's very well. It'll be very interesting to see how she goes around the valley. She's a big horse, but she is a very well balanced mare. So we're sort of don't fear where we don't think there's going to be an issue, but it'll be interesting for going forward for the future as well.
She's come out of that Harwater run okay?
Yeah, really well, and had good improvement. She was ready to go, but the track was a lot softer than we expected, so she had a good blow there, and she's come on a long way.
And the other question the boys were asking just before the show went to air, what's the target on Champions Day? Does she go to 2,000 metres or do you stay at 16?
Yeah, no, almost definitely be 2,000, the Championship Stakes. I think that's really her best distance, and it'll be exciting to see her on a big track here at Flemington.
Of course, the Matriarch Stakes that day too, isn't it? So you've got the option of sticking to mares or going weight for age against the guns.
Yeah, exactly. We'll get tomorrow out of the way, but there's plenty of options. But almost definitely 2,000 metres here on the 11th.
Okay, and where are we watching the All Blacks on Sunday morning, Rob?
Well, it depends whether we win on Saturday night and how well we pull up. But no, we'll certainly find a place to go. And I'll just promise the boys back home, Aiden's flat out over here. He's working very hard, so don't you got to feel a little bit sorry for him.
Do you want to give them a bit of a hard time about the price? Maybe just extend the price out a little bit on Prowess?
Yeah, come on, surely you give us a special. What about a New Zealand special with Imperatriz and Aprilia and Prowess? Do something for the crew.
Yeah, what do you reckon, boys? Can you match up for that?
There'll be all sorts of special options around those Kiwis, Aidan, I can assure you. Make sure you pay Robert that $50 for lying through his teeth there around your work ethic. Thank you, Robert, for spending some time with us. We really appreciate it. We can't wait to see Prowess go in a Crystal Mile. Paul, you got anything for Aidan before we head off?
Well, yeah, I just want to, I guess, add on to Robert's comment there about Aidan, and obviously he is a very, very busy man over there, but the little amount of spare time that he does have, what does he actually do over there when he's got a wee bit of time to himself? Has he paid a visit to every bakery in town? What's the deal?
I'm trying to be healthy living over here, actually, Paul. So I'm keeping away from the bakeries. A lot of time on the treadmill and down at the gym. So I'm trying to trim up a little bit while I'm over here and do a bit of healthy living. I'm sure very similar to what you're doing at home.
Identical, I can tell you. Hey, thank you, Aidan. Thank you, Robert, for spending some time with us on the leg up, and good luck with Prowess. We know she's going to do us proud on Saturday, and thank you, Aidan, for joining us as well. Cheers, guys.
Good as gold, guys. Cheers.
Okay, BP, back to you, and we're going to come to you for our Maidener of the Week. Where did we land this week?
Well, first of all, I think you guys should put all sorts of specials together because Robert can't bet on it anyway. What's he talking? He's in Australia. He won't be able to get on it anyway. So put it all together. Do it for the man, but he just won't be able to bet on it anyway.
Robert's mum will be in.
Well, true, yeah, that's a good point.
Roger.
Right, let's have a look at our maiden of the week. Good stuff there from the team. And Aidan's doing a super job. Takashi. Let's go to Rotorua yesterday. This was a horse that a lot of punters were waiting for. The horse had looked very good through the trials. The Matamata trial, the signals were there. Opie was on, sat outside leader, got the job done. There's actually a couple of races here I thought at the race meeting that you could keep tabs on. I even thought a couple of runners in this race I was happy to follow, the second horse in New Millennium, but there was a couple of maiden races there on the program, but happy to identify this one because he was the shorty going in. He's a son of Satano Aladdin and he got the job done. So we'll make him our maiden of the week, and Takashi there for Stephen Marsh and of course Owen Patrick Boston aboard.
Just disregard those numbers, but very impressive on the eye. Paul, were we potentially offered a share in that horse at some point? I see the owners, Paul Lally, we do know him.
Is this an early confessional for us?
Well, yeah, exactly, getting the confessional out of the way. We might have missed the boat there, mate.
Jeez. Surely they'll let us back in.
Yeah, they'll let you buy in. Could be quadruple the price now. That was an impressive win from Takashi. Numbers would have stacked up, Steve.
I haven't done the numbers as yet,
No.
but it was the fastest over the 1,215 metres. There was 3 races over that journey yesterday at Ottawa Park, and it was the fastest. Okay. So look, I might put something on social over the next 48 hours around crunching the numbers on that particular maiden. But by another horse by Satano Aladdin doing the job well out of Passchendaele, Amon Jermier. Sargi trained her.
Yep.
She
Cups horse.
Yeah, I think she won a Waikato Cup. She won 5 races in total from roughly 13 or 14 starts. She placed at the elite level, Passchendaele, so this might be one of her fame and glory in terms of a broodmare.
Yeah, probably should have done our due diligence, to be fair. Yeah, okay. Anyway,
Another
moving right along. We've got 4 races we want to have a look at, boys, so we're going to have to be rolling through them hard. No gas bagging today, lads, but let's set the scene at Pukekohe. Steve, what can we expect to be playing on?
There's the odd isolated shower you're seeing there, live pit, well, pretty close to live pitches at Pukekohe. Look, the track's rated a good 4. Now, we haven't been at Pukekohe since the 21st of June, where it was a midweek meeting on a heavy surface, so it's had at least 3 to 4 months off the scene. Pukekohe should be in top-notch condition, and the weather forecast looks pretty good. The odd isolated showers, but nothing that will really hurt the track considerably. So I'd be looking in terms of form reference, remaining a good 4, a good 4 for the majority of race day.
Yeah, okay, race number 8 on the card is the Soliloquy Stakes. A very gun field of fillies here, Steve, with an eye to the 1,000 guineas. Run us through this market.
You're headed by Molly Bloom at a $4.20 price. Quite a static market thus far after a couple of days of trading. Molly Bloom, as I mentioned, 4.2, Liberon at 4.8. But when you talk about dollars invested, 80% revolves around the 1 and the 9, 9 and the 1. When you break it down between those 2 runners, they do match dollar for dollar without a clear lead. Mary Shan in that 3rd line at $6, and Pendabelt 7, Tulsi $8.50, then double figures around Glamour Tycoon at 15. Chica Mojito $18 off a shortener at 16, and Livid Sky 21 into 18. That's the one firmer in the middle / end market. But look, overall summary: Molly Bloom, Luberon, best back runners in the feature. Pookie.
Okay, BP. Look, I bring this race up not because it was your best bet, but you know, what do we make of this run with an eye to this race and potentially 1,000 guineas with Molly Bloom?
Yeah, watching this race with my palm over my face, to be honest with you, and just trying to look through my fingers when watching this race, because it was a tough watch. And look, it was always going to be a tough watch. That's probably one of the things that you have to mention around this race, and then with what's happened down the straight as well. But I guess what I was hoping for in this race is that she'd still be good enough to be able to camp off them in a position like she was going to be, maybe a pair closer. I wasn't expecting where she did land in that race to be there. I was hoping to be, you know, sort of maybe 3 back on 1 off sort of thing, and having that chance to really roll into the race at the right time. All those things didn't happen. It helped those horses that were up close to speed, and then of course that interference down the straight. I think overall though, she's run the right figures, she's run well, she's been unlucky. They've put a tongue tie on for tomorrow's assignment. She's drawn in barrier number 1. Now I guess that could be problematic because of where she might end up. That's going to be down to Joe Doyle making sure that she doesn't get buried, because if she does get buried on the rail, could be quite an awkward watch. If she's, 3 back at worst, getting a good run in the race, having that opportunity using the long straight of Pukekohe Park to start working off, and then showing that acceleration that she does have and moving up to 1,400 metres. They are all good things that are in her favour, but just don't want to see her getting too far back on the rail from barrier number 1. That would be my little red flag.
Yeah, potentially awkward. Look, the replay we want to have a look at is the Mudda 3-year-old Luberon. Lock Katrina. I made Tulsi my one and only leg up best bet. Could only manage 3rd, Paul, but here's the second favourite, Luberon, getting the job done outside leader.
Yeah, very much so. Look, she looked a little shaky over the final 400 metres, but I don't hold that against her. I see Cambridge Stud have brought over the Victorian apprentice, Celine Gaudry. To ride with no Warren Kennedy available. I don't know. Look, she took on the older horses at Te Rapa as well and did the business there. I'll give her a big chance. Like BP, I'm just a wee bit concerned with Molly Bloom getting the 1 draw. She's been slow away all 3 of her race day starts. So she could get into a wee bit of trouble there, which I think opens the door for someone like Luberon, drawn wide, but I think Celine will be able to get her across quite easily. And I think she's a wee bit of value at 480.
Yeah, okay. Well, what about Mary Shan, Steve? Threatening to do this and did it in fine style, albeit in maiden class here, but did what she needed to do and then some, to be fair.
You should the right form reference heading into this race here at Tauranga, placing him behind Lupo Solitario and Matawai at Taupo. And her 4th start overall career, and it rated pretty well. Speed rating 3.2 lengths above maiden class. ranked number 1 in terms of all races that day at Tauranga, and when you compare it to Livid Sky and Toss For You, who also won maidens, albeit at different distances on the day, Livid Sky rated 3.6 lengths inferior, and Toss For You rated 4.7 lengths inferior to Mary Shan. So, yeah, I'm very keen on Mary Shan. Look, the 1400 might be a little bit sticky. She probably is looking for 1600 already. So they're just waiting for her to get down to Christchurch, big roomy track at Riccarton. But I think with that gate, she can sit no worse in midfield and get away with the 7 furlongs on Saturday.
Okay, the other maiden you mentioned is Livid Sky, and there has been a little bit of movement for it in this middle market, Steve. Impressive on the eye.
It was impressive. She was well played. She was a bit unlucky at Matamata to start prior to this. Class rating, no knock there. But when you're weighing up against Mary Shan, she does have to improve roughly 3.6 lengths to turn the tables. The blinkers are added here, which is a gear change. We talk about gear changes in terms of profit on turnover when they're added. Well, that is a positive. So, yeah, one horse that has plenty of upside being by Presea, and again, the 1400 will be no knock there. So, yeah, just weighing her up against Mary Shan, I think Mary Shan, which is reflected in the market, Mary Shan's third favourite at $6, and you're getting Livid Sky in the high teens. So, look, it's one horse I identified, or punters have identified in the first 48 hours at 21 was a little bit over, and that's why she's shaved into 18.
Okay, who else you got on your dance card here, Paul? I mean, Impenda Bell's been a little unlucky. Tulsi, I wouldn't need to improve much to be competitive.
You got it right first up there. Impenda Bell, I thought, yeah, Tony Pike's a filly. I like her at the odds around the $7 mark at the moment. She doesn't have to face Crescetti here. And I thought that was a very, very good second behind Crescetti. Had excuses in the Gold Trail.
Yep.
And had a better than handy 2-year-old season. So I'm expecting her to just keep improving with each race. And I think she could just surprise a little here.
Yeah, okay. Steve, who do you have on top in the race?
I've got Mary Shan from all what I've just said in the last 3 to 4 minutes. Just feel a sense of timing. I think she's a legitimate chance in the 1,000 guineas in a few weeks' time, but I think she can get away with the 7 furlongs just purely on the draw. Just looking at the map, BP, you've got Tears of Victory is drawn barrier 2 as the likely leader. I think Luberon from a sticky gate, they'll try and be positive as they were at Matamata, and hopefully they can get a similar race shape. I think back right-handed is also a positive for Luberon, but you've also got Onida, Sabina, who will go forward. Tears of
Victory will go forward.
Yeah, Tears for Victory from barrier 2 was the likely leader. So I think there's enough pressure from horses that are drawn maybe sticky gates to ignite a bit of speed, a bit of heat in the first furlong or two. So again, you come back to Molly Bloom. Gee, I think the Connections would love to be 3-back rail, possibly 2-back, but I think realistically it's 3-back rail. If they go 4-back rail and the tempo slackens mid-race, it's going to be a hard watch for punters that have invested on her in terms of being the favourite. But look, I know they've got a lot of time for Molly Bloom, BP. I think there's been some big offers just in the recent times in the last 7 to 14 days for her over in Australia. They've denied all those offers, so that gives you a bit of a positive how much time and respect they have around this horse, not just for Saturday, but also going forward to the 1,000 guineas.
Yeah, look, I think if Molly Bloom gets 4 back the rail, it could be death by 1,000 paper cuts, couldn't it? Because it could be a really awkward watch from there. If she's 3 back, I think she can still win the race. She's explosive. She's got a really good turn of foot, Molly Bloom, and if she can get everything go her way and the pace of the race is run correctly for her and it's just not a sit and sprint race, she can win. Look, there's a chance here to play a couple of other horses in the race, and you guys have spoken about them there. I actually think the horse who can get to the front is actually a chance in the top 4 here in Tears of Victory. This was a horse who was backed really strongly in that Luberon race and finished into 4th position. And if you go back 2 starts ago, ran a super race behind Lupo Solitario, who's then, of course, runs second behind Crescetti in the James and Annie Sart Memorial. I just feel as though her price is at a crazy price where she's going to be in front. And if she doesn't get taken on, look, the 31s is worth a small nibble. I think the place and the top 4 market is where I'll be searching mostly in terms of a staking plan around the horse. But I don't mind it. I really do think she is the huge over in the race in Tears of Victory. And Impenda Bell's the other horse I think we need to mention, and Paulie's made a good case for it as well. The Quintessa form out of the Gold Trail Stakes, how good the horse was on that occasion, and then line it up again with Crescetti. This is the horse who brings the genuine 3-year-old form so far that we've seen this season. She's run second behind that boy. Filly's race in a soliloquy, I feel as though she's a chance. So I'm around Impenda Bell, Molly Bloom, and certainly a nice little roughie in tears of victory.
Hey, I got a lot of faith in you. I'll stick with you, kid, that's the bottom.
Lance O'Sullivan Award time. Look, we mentioned Joe Doyle a bit earlier. He's flying, but not our recipient of this week's Lance O'Sullivan Award. BP, who is it?
No, but we have got a double dipper in the Lance O'Sullivan Award, and it does go to Warren Kennedy. Warren Kennedy with Nest Egg. This was a race and a day so far in this portion of the program where it was playing to those. There were horses that were sitting in a forward position up against that rail. It was a golden spot to be during this race meeting at Te Rapa. Warren Kennedy made a move on Chevron from mid-pack to get outside leader, and it was a winning move. Really good initiative from Warren, and that was the winning of the race for mine. Well played in the marketplace was Nest Egg, so we'll go with Warren Kennedy as our Lance O'Sullivan Award winner for the ride of the week.
Oh, double dipper. Yeah, I like what you did there. It's quality television, BP, Nest Egg. And Warren Kennedy. He might be a dual winner, is he, of the Lance O'Sullivan Award? Oh, my goodness.
First one.
What an honour. What an honour.
100%. And I think he worked it out early on in the day as well, that the place to be was forward. And so I think he made that move on Nest Egg around the 700 metre mark.
They went so slow though, so tactically you got it bang on. I think on my numbers it was 15 lengths below class to the 600. So
good jockeys know that, don't they? And that's why Warren
take a bit of initiative and away you go.
Yeah,
Nest Egg now the favourite in the New Zealand Cup futures market.
Yeah, well, we'll get to that. We'll get to that. Before we get there, let's get to race number 2 on the card at Pukekohe. It's the Open 1200 metres, Stephen. A competitive wee field here up the top.
Yeah, Petrucci heads the market at 220. Open 230, just in one turn slightly, the favourite. In front of Desert Lightning resumes here. $3.50 quote again. Well played in that second line. Winning for all at $4.50 off a peak of 4.8. Millefiore at $7.50 off a peak of 8 in a turn there. Side by side. Open 10 got to 14, just backed into 12. New York Jazz $18 is your best of your rest. So a nice spread of money between the 5, 4 and the 3 without a clear leader in terms of a betting picture.
Yeah, interesting up the top, VP. Petrucci resumed with a pretty devastating win here, and wasn't a lot of money for it this day, which makes me think there's room for some improvement potentially as well here.
Yeah, she's a nice horse. I mean, pretty close to marking her as the best on the program for mine. The way that she was able to power up over the top of them and put them away. I like her form from last season, and it's a form race that is really stacking up, and of course that is the Denby Road Cambridge Breeders' Stakes. Ran second behind Denby Road in that particular race before being tipped out for a spell. We've already seen some really good form lines developing out of that race. We're yet to see Denby Road yet, but hold on to your horses when he does come back. Beep Beep ran 4th in the Cambridge Breeders. And look how close that horse got to Johnny on the weekend in the Swainee Stakes when finishing into 2nd position. Just like the form around that race, and Davici Bell and co as well that have come out and been placed recently. So good first up win. Expect that good improvement from her. Drawn barrier number 1. There's a lot of good factors around here going pretty close here, I thought, in 220. Yeah. I'm happy to go shopping.
Yeah, no doubt. But yeah, plenty will be, Paul. We can come to you for the next replay, and that's winning for all. At Hastings, let's call it a gallant second. I'm going to call it a gallant second.
Yeah, in behind Express Yourself, and there was a bit of a blanket finish for 2nd, 3rd, 4th and 5th in this race. Winning for all, he got out maybe just a wee bit late here. When the gap did open, he started to finish off nicely. He was carrying 59 kilos this day at Hastings on Livermore Day. Drops 4 kilos in the weights, only 55 tomorrow. So, look, he's definitely a chance, and I see there's a wee bit of money on as well. Yeah, hoping he can go one better. Yeah. That's all I've got to say. I don't want to say any more.
Yeah, okay. Well, the other horse we want to have a look at, Steve, is Desert Lightning. This is a quality horse, competed against the very best, and this trial suggests somewhere close to the mark.
Yeah, I like him. I'm expecting big things from this horse this campaign. As you touched on, he comes out of that vintage crop from last season. Look, he probably didn't get the headlines as other 3-year-olds got purely because he didn't win one of the big races. But he wasn't far behind. 2nd in the 2,000 guineas behind Pierre. That day he bet Prowess. He ran 3rd in the Karaka Classic, beating home Legato. He won in Avondale Guineas. And no knock on the connections to press forward to a derby, but at the end of the day, he just didn't stay the 2-4. I reckon he's a sprinter miler. That's my gut feel around Desert Lightning. So I'm expecting a big run first up. You saw that trial. just to have him tighten down first up over 1,200 metres. Look, the dilemma around this race is who leads? Where's the pace going to come from? Because I don't see an obvious leader. Possibly Winning for All with Sam Spratt doing the riding there. Outside that, look, Desert Lightning might go forward from what we saw in that trial. Petrucci now, if it becomes tactical, I'm a bit nervous where this horse maps. It's drawn the inside gate. I think they'd love the trail, possibly following Winning for All, but if one horse decides to come across and take that leading position, it might be Apache or it might be Desert Lightning, well then Petrucci, the favourite, goes back 3-rail in a tactical race. So yeah, I'm just not sure how this is all going to unfold, but it looks a little bit tricky purely on the map.
Okay, sounds like there's enough money for Desert Lightning. It sounds like you're with Desert Lightning before we get Paul's selections.
Yeah, I'm keen for Desert Lightning. I think he's in for a big campaign. He doesn't have to improve from what he showed early in his 3-year-old prep, over 1,400 metres. Look, he's probably not proven at 1,200 quite yet, but I think he's going to be trained more like a sprinter miler, purely because they just didn't get the trip at the Derby. Yes, he won Neverdale Guineas, but that was against his own age. I think a race like the Captain Cook, which is now the TAB Classic, some of those weight for age 1,600 metre races, or they could even target a handicap race like a Ritual over Christmas, New Year. He's that good. I think he's got a Group 1 in him this term.
Okay. Well, and Pearl of Alsace not going to be there in a TAB Classic, so could make Desert Lightning's job a touch easier. Paulie, final thoughts here in race number 2, the Open. How are you going to attack it? You can't get away from our horse, can you? Surely.
I do like Desert Lightning myself.
Oh.
I don't know.
I was trying to pump you up for the big Winning for All.
Look, I've got Winning for All in there for a top 3 finish.
Yep.
And if things go his way, and if Sammy gets some clear out front and just gets away with a nice slow tempo, he could be on his way. So I see I had some money for side by side, now into $12.
Yeah, okay.
Smiling Joe on top. That was a nice run.
Yeah, it was in behind Petrucci, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So, okay. That's
But
interesting.
yes, yeah, Desert Lightning on top for me. Hoping for Winning for All to maybe upset the apple cart.
Run second again. BP, final thoughts here in the Open 12?
Yeah, it is a fiddly race, isn't it, with how it could play tactically. Look, they've been able to hold a spot beforehand over a short course of 1,000 metres when with Petrucci. I guess wondering Apache might be that horse that might come over from an outside gate and really apply pressure, but if she doesn't get too far back on the rail, I really thought she was a horse that was the one on the program just about. That Quinella, though, I guess if you're looking to play around Desert Lightning, what did I see here? $4.20, the fixed Quinella on Desert Lightning and Petrucci. Probably not good for those that are involved in Winning for All, though. So maybe we'll have to throw that in there as well as a little side. What is that going to give you with Winning for All? $8.40. $8.40, the 4-3 Quinella. There you go, with Desert Lightning and Winning for All if you're looking that way. All right, well, that's the way we play it, I reckon, in the second on the program. Hovering around those 3 runners, but Petrucci keen to play it around at that 220 mark.
How are Overs Gods feeling over the last 7 days? We'll be able to bring to you graphically some of the biggest moves of the week. These are worth marking down because they don't back these horses for no reason. What a charmer, race number 3, Ep10 Rapa in the Stayers race. Look, got the map to suit there, I think, and everyone thought it would lead. It did lead, but had a bit much pressure up front. 18 into 5, could only manage 9th. Nest Egg, there it is, blinkers on. Crash Bang Wallop, 850 into 550 winner. I'm Wonderful tonight, 350 into $1.80 and never looked like losing. Johnny, 320 into $2. Didn't see it starting at 2s, but even on a good track, Johnny managed to find the line first. And Charlotte Amalie, 26 into 8. That's 4 massive movers that have won. Not so lucky at Trentham, Testify Me, 650 into 364. Jackaroo was a decent push, just beaten for second, 18 into 750. And look at this for a move at Gore. Cluedo Lane went up against the Hangover, who was extremely well backed as well. Late proceedings, Cluedo Lane 15 into 320 for Sally Mackay and the team down there. Watch out for Cluedo Lane wherever it goes would be my advice.
Usually the Southern money is good money.
Well, they've been cleaning us up on a Sunday recently.
They did back the favourite as well, to be fair.
Exactly. Terrible result, the favourite. So it's not like we got out of jail there. Righto, guys, 2 races we want to have a look at down south at Riccarton. Steve, run us through track conditions and weather conditions down there.
Yeah, the track's come back remarkably well in the last 4 to 5 days. I think it was hitting in that heavy range at the start of the week. The rail's out 8 metres. Again, they're just looking after that inside strip for Carnival Day, which we know is just round the corner. It's a soft 5 at present with fine weather, so look, it's not going to be any worse than a soft 5. Hopefully we get a slight upgrade during the racing day, but yeah, overall a pretty good day and a pretty good track for tomorrow's meeting.
Yeah, 5 looks perfect. Run us through the Water Crease, Steve. It's race number 7 on the card. Again, this will have a bit of a bearing on the guineas, and a couple of well-backed favourites here.
Trobrion heads the market at 280, Thaddeus, in front of Lantern Way at $3. Lantern Way fractionally the better back runner out of the 2 favourites at the pointy end. Burn to Shine, $5.50. BizQ, 13, got as high as 14, just back into the original price. Quintabel at $13, probably the best back runner in that middle market. Mogul at $31, so it gets quite deep and long in terms of a tail there. But overall, a lot of the volume, a lot of the money surrounds the 1 and the 2, the 2 and the 1.
I guess the action's going to be up the top here, BP. The first race we want to have a look at contains Lantern Way and Burn to Shine. It's obviously a Hawke's Bay Guineas.
Yeah, it's pretty hard for him to get away from, isn't it? The Hawke's Bay Guineas. Yes, it was on a heavy surface. It was rated a heavy 9. It got to a 10 eventually, the latter part of the program. He's a good horse. This is a very good horse, Lantern Way. He was able to show that first up performance as well, where he's only just gone under behind Shanti Lace, which we know with what she's been able to do is actually quite good form. And then he's come out here and he's beaten Solidify. It was his very first win. Look at the way that he's gone through the line, 1,600 metres, massive tick there in terms of him going to this race and then going on to the 2,000 guineas. I just like a lot about this horse, the way that he comes into the race with that victory under the belt and also the big roomier track. Now, there is a few showers about for today. I did notice in the forecast. So, look, that won't be an issue if it's around that sort of 5, 6, 7. The forecast for tomorrow is looking rather good for the weekend, but there is some rain in the forecast for today. So just bear that in mind if you're watching this live Friday morning and just how much rain is going to fall there out of Riccarton. His biggest danger is Trobriand. There's no doubting that because the form's good. He beats Bozo. Bozo's a horse who came out and won last weekend. Kevin Myers with a 3-year-old filly. That looks very good. Boy, when was the last time Kevin had a high-quality 3-year-old filly that's going towards some of our big races coming up this season? So Trobriand's been one of those horses that was identified early in the 2-year-old season for Te Akau with where this horse might be heading. Of course, went into the Kanaka Million as a horse that Opie wanted to ride. Of course, it was a runner that in the end wasn't the right one to be on because of what we saw with Tokyo Tycoon. But just going through what he was able to do, he was that leading 2-year-old early around this time of the year was Trobriand. So I think he is the obvious danger. And then you're probably looking at that Hawke's Bay Guineas form again, team with Burn to Shine, who of course ran 3rd behind Lantern Way.
It was tough from Trobriand, beating Bozo. Paul, it was a good effort.
As BP said, that form's been franked with Bozo coming out and winning at Trentham next time out. So, yeah, I really do like the look of Trobriand. The wide draw, I don't think will be an issue, and the step up to the mile seems ideal. So, yeah, Trobriand, a worthy favourite at the moment.
Yeah, okay. And Quintabel's the other race we want to have a look at Ashburton winning. It was in that Guineas trial, I believe, Steve, and was 3rd or 4th, and here it is breaking maidens.
He didn't cover any extra ground. You see they're getting back on the inner there and came down underneath the opposition, but a little bit of a red flag in terms of numbers there. Again, 2 to 600, last 600, that's compared to open class, so no real knock there, but the class rating is well below par, minus 3.4 lengths, and when you normalise it to what Lantern Way produced in the Hawke's Bay Guineas, it needs to improve 10 lengths, so it's been shoved in the deep end. I know 3-year-olds can improve significantly, race by race, but yeah, I'd be wanting to take a slight knock on it, even though it's in the middle market.
Okay, well, you're a Lantern Way or a Trobriand man, Steve?
I'm going Lantern Way. I think it got through it just on class in terms of the wet track and the Guineas. Solidify did run 2nd, ran par, was a touch unlucky on the eye last Saturday and behind Crescetti. So, yeah, I'm just trusting that Lantern Way can produce the same number on a better track. Trobriand, I thought it was a gun ride from Palmer last start in the Guineas trial. They absolutely crawled to the 600, but if you watch the trial, watch the run and the ride from Palmer, he got going from about the 800, just crept forward off that slow tempo and was in the striking zone to win that race at the top of the straight. I think he was almost leading at the top of the straight because he had managed just to crawl enough from the 8 to the 4 to put himself in that position. So, look, there looks to be more genuine tempo this time round compared to the Guineas trial where, like I say, they crawled. So from a wide gate, I think they'll just go back with Trobion, look to get some cover as they did last start. And I think with the more speed in the race up front, he'll get his opportunity. But I just feel Lantern Way brings the better numbers, the better performance ratings up north in the Hawke's Bay Guineas. And I wouldn't be surprised if he started fave on Saturday afternoon.
Okay, you're taking over from Trobion. What are your final thoughts? Have we missed anything, Paul, or we're just sticking around these top ones in the Water Creek?
Look, I'm going to throw an each way.
This is what I'm waiting for.
Yeah.
This is what I was waiting for. Yes.
Down from up north, number 4 Bazik out of the Ray Williams stable. Jasmine Fawcett to ride. She's been riding very, very well of late, and I think he'll get conditions better suited, unlike the heavy going he found last time. I just don't think he quite copped it. The 2 wins up at Ruakaka, I think, were very, very good. So at the odds, at around $13, I think Bazik certainly a nice little each way go.
You're hoping it was the track? Because he had the race shape to be perfect. He was on
Did
speed.
Did they not go hard?
They crawled in the
I'm
Guineas.
hoping it was the track.
So you're hoping it, yeah.
Okay, let's just clarify that. You're hoping it's the track.
Well, we'll find out tomorrow probably, unless we get another heavy track.
Yeah, exactly. Well, if BP showers eventuate, we may do. BP, final thoughts here in the Water Creek?
Look, I really like Lantern Way. I think he's a good horse in the making, this bloke. He won the Hawke's Bay Guineas in those trying conditions. It won't be like that on the weekend, but he just showed his class with how he was able to get through it in 1,600 metres. He just looks like a type that's screaming out for that distance now. He is a genuine hope in the 2,000 Guineas. Yes, Crescetti has really squashed that market with him being $1.70 pop in that race, but he is a horse, if he runs well here, and even Trobriand, if they can at least show that there is going to be some dangers to Crescetti. This is a big race for those key rivals in behind, and I do like Lantern Way over Trobriand. The Quinella $4.40, the fixed Quinella around Trobriand and also Lantern Way. And if you wanted to throw Burn to Shine in there, who ran third in the Hawke's Bay Guineas with Lantern Way, it's $8.70. But in terms of a single straight out bet, I'll go Lantern Way.
Steve and BP both with the Lantern Way. Paul throwing out Bazik at odds each way in this year's Water Creek. Race number 9, we could have picked a few here. We've gone to race number 9, and that's the Sothi Spring Classic, Steve, over the 2,000 metres. Market, please.
Preserve heads of the market. Impressive last start, one at 450. In fact, you've got 450 each of 2, Preserve and Second Thought. Second Thought coming off a peak of 550. So there's your best back runner / mover. Charm Star for Lisa Ladder, third up this campaign at $6 with Glorified and also Primati Diva. Leitrim Lad has had a little bit of specking at $9 off a peak of 10. And Matt Scott best the rest at $14. So best back runner happens to be number 4 and Second Thought.
Yeah, okay, Second Thought and ProServe up the top here, BP, and ProServe's win last start out, very strong.
It was good, wasn't it? It was a really good win here by ProServe, and just a horse that's heading in the right direction. He looks to be a horse that's just putting his runs together as a nice staying type out of the Pitmans. I like his prospects coming into this weekend. He's a horse that can go in any type of track condition. And look at him draw them in here over the 2,200 metres. He's beating a fair horse here. Prince Albie has always been touted as one of the Tyler's better horses that they've put a saddle on. So I'm happy to really run with that form that we see there from that performance by ProServe, coming off them and finishing strongly over the top. He sits at $4.50. Obviously, you've had that money for Second Thought as well, who's $5.50 into $4.50. Look, it's an overall tricky race to try and work out. It's very condensed, isn't it, with just the 10 runners? But immediately I was thinking ProServe was the one here I wanted to have a bit of a play on.
Yeah, it was a nice win, no doubt. You've got Charm Star in your numbers? You can't do off the last run, surely. I know it's a favourite of yours. Be great to see Charm Star back in form.
I do.
I knew you would.
Oh, hold on a minute. We've just said Lantern Way, Lisa Ladder and the Water Creek.
Yeah.
Maybe she does the Water Creek Sprint Classic. I just...
Third up.
Yeah,
Lisa Ladder.
Yeah, had some trials as well. And this is, as Stephen's figures said a few weeks ago, this is the time when you start to really get serious about backing Lisa Ladder runners, when they've had a couple of runs under their belt, and that's exactly where we find Charm Star. I have to have a little go.
You can't not really, can you?
I'd be so disappointed in myself if she actually did get up and win. And since getting back from Victoria, things haven't quite gone to plan, it doesn't seem. But this looks like the sort of race where she can get back on track again. So Charm Star, yes, I definitely have it in my numbers.
Yeah, okay. Second Thought, Steve's been the one we've seen a little bit of money for, and it comes out of the race at the Ashburton Cup where it managed second. Matt Scott also in this field.
Just a real sense of timing around Second Thought. I'm not surprised the money's come for this individual. This was second up after a really good run first up on an off track, which didn't suit. Now this was a glorified sit and sprint. You see there the numbers, 14 lengths below par to the 600. They've dashed home 33 and change last 600. So he was in the right position, but he was just beaten by a genuine miler here, where he's more of a 1.25 mile galloper. So look, no knock that he got out sprinted late there by the other horse that was on speed. I thought Matt Scott was very good considering that race shape. His sectionals late, very encouraging in terms of what he was up against. Looking at the other horses at what they produced in the last furlong or two. So, but yeah, Second Thought, I just got a sense of timing. He won third up last preparation. He's a horse that loves Riccarton. I think he's won there on three out of his 4 total wins thus far. So, and he just gets a gorgeous map. I think they'll go reasonable speed here with Wannabe in Paris and Lintram Lad, but outside those two, there's a gap there for Second Thought just to sit in behind that speed and be possibly trailing or one out, one back. I thought he was the map horse and the one to beat clearly in the Spring Classic.
Yeah, okay. Second thoughts on Second Thought, BP?
Yeah, look, I think she's a pretty big player in the race, to be honest with you. Weatherly aboard brings the right sort of runs with what we've seen from the horse, so big danger. I'm sticking with Pro Serve, though. I was just really taken with how he won that race. So I don't see much between the others and behind the likes of Second Thought. Taimiri Diva as well, with how that horse won last time out of Timaru over the 2200 metres when first up presented for the new campaign for Andrew Carston. Then Leitrim Lad, he's been in such good form, this horse, through his preparation, of course winning at Ruakaka and at Te Rapa, and then of course going back to Riccarton where he doesn't quite have the form at this venue. 8 starts for just the 1 minor placing. But yes, Stephen's right in terms of what happens here with the speed of the race. Wannabe in Paris, of course, he raced on Wednesday at Gore. She'll like to get on with her work like she did in that particular race on Wednesday as well, and Leitrim Lad likes to be up front, so the pace should be genuine for those that are looking to try and finish over the top.
Paul, final thoughts on the race? Sounds like Steve's Second Thought. What you're going to go Charm Star again?
I'm going Charm Star, but I also like the look of that Matt Scott. Certainly from the 7 barrier, if there's a wee bit of speed on, should get a race to suit. And the way that he finished off last start, I thought it showed a lot of improvement. And I think at the price, there's another one.
He likes Riccarton too, the big Romeo tracks.
What price is Matt Scott, sorry?
14s.
Okay, so we're split betting here, Matt Scott and Charm Star.
Yep.
What about Leitrim Lad? He was faded last time, he was going so well. Put it down to the track again. I know it's got heavy form, but I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not
Just
sure.
don't want to drop
59,
Leitrim Lad.
I'm always against horses that it's at the top of the weights, over 1.25 miles and beyond. So that's probably my one knock on Leitrim Lad, and he's not going to get his own way. We want to be in Vegas or in the field. So, yeah, and with Preserve, as good as that win was on the eye, it had the race shape to suit. They went hard up to the 600, I think 4 seconds faster than the corresponding rating 65 on the same day. So as good as the win was, I thought it was a touch misleading purely because they went so hard and he finished over the top. I think the race was 36 seconds for the last 600, which is pretty slow for that class. So that would probably be my one knock around the current fave.
Okay, thank you, boys, for your thoughts there. Race number 9, the Sothi Spring Classic. Look, we're joined by a special guest now, I believe. Beamed in, king of SENZ Radio. Morning, Louis Herman Watt. How are you?
Fellas, this is an absolute honour and a privilege to be welcomed in by the 3 wise men of TAB punting and Paul Maoate. I've been badgering to get on this show for, it feels like decades now, probably since the last time that Thad tipped a winner, and I'm here. So, would you look at this?
Yeah, look, I know you're genuine about this. I know you're genuine. You've been bugging me for months to try and get on the show, and you finally cracked it. But you're on for a very good reason. I know you'll be fizzing about tomorrow, Cox Plate Manikato Day, but you'll also be fizzing about New Zealand Cup Week and the SENZ Punters Club.
Yeah, I'm fizzing for winning for all to win a race so punters can stop doing theirs. But after that, then we'll be all in trying to win a buck so we can just keep tipping it in to the SENZ Punters Club for Cup Week. In all seriousness, Cup Week is probably my favourite week of the year. And look, the team there at TAB, Cam, Roger, you boys, you're helping us out. We're trying to get a punters club going. It's not going to be anything that's going to rival what BGP have done previously, but what it will do is for SENZ listeners, for punters, for trackside viewers, for anyone that just likes having a bet during what is the best week of racing in New Zealand, we'll go across the codes. It'll give us something to keep interested in, and I'm pretty sure when the form is as exposed as it usually is during Cup Week, you don't get a better time to have continuous winners, and that goes across all the codes, like harness racing, of course, and the thoroughbreds. We've got the trials tomorrow at Riccarton, and I'm pretty confident that we'll be able to identify a couple that we can really launch at.
How do we get involved, and who's going to be doing the selecting for us, Louis? Who are we going to be putting the money entrusted with?
It's a really good question. There will be a panel of intelligent people. We'll use the box seat lads. We'll get Mickey G and GOC Greg O'Connor involved. We've got the grandfather, the grandmaster Clado. He's always tipping up a storm on Saturday afternoons on the good oil. Obviously, I'll have my say, but I'll try to keep that to a minimum. Just don't want to spook anybody. I'm going so bad that I'm probably due to come right. So actually, if you think about it like that, there's no better time for this to all happen. And we'll make sure that we absolutely do our homework. As I say, the form is exposed at this time of year. The tracks are good. I hope that this water, this wind that's just kind of hitting us here in Christchurch doesn't play too much havoc for tomorrow for the trials, so everything can run and can be peak fitness come Cup Week, because it's just, there's no better time to really make a buck. And coming off the back of the Melbourne Cup Carnival and then the Cox Plate tomorrow as well, I'm hoping punters will have some profits, and if you want to get involved and keep that momentum going, well, there's no better way to do it than with the SENZ Punters Club.
Yeah, absolutely, Louis. You can get on the website, find the SENZ Punters Club link, click on that and invest in that, and you'll be part of that show for that whole week in New Zealand Cup Week. One word from you before you go, Louis. I'm just wondering if you're sitting on a big fat ticket.
A tip for tomorrow.
No, a big. Oh, I know. This is a question I've got to ask him. I know he's sitting on a big fat ticket around that Imperatriz boosted double we did for you. She's $1.45 to win a Manikato. I think we were offering $6.50, might have even been $7. So you must be looking forward to seeing her go around tomorrow.
Yeah, look, I'm not, which is a good thing for everybody that is, but she's not unbeatable, of course, but the way she's going, I mean, good judges are calling her the form horse of Australia right now. I'm so proud of the whole team at Te Ako for not chasing the Everest money, because that race is so tricky for so many reasons. She's going to go to the Valley, a place she absolutely loves. She gets on the right leg at the right time. She's going to ping off that bend. She'll scorch the earth again, probably set another track record and win it. So it's fantastic. And then into the Cox Plate, guys. I mean, the storylines there, just fantastic. And I think the best grand final trainer in Australasia, Chris Waller, has a 3-year-old, absolutely ripe for it. So there's a smoky.
So is that the tip, Paul? Do we need another tip from Louis?
Well, I was going to ask the bookies if they could open a market. Who's going to pick a winner first, Louis Herman Watt or Thad Taylor? And,
Oh, okay. I'm going bad, but this might be the last time I ever join the show.
Yeah, you're here to sell the SENZ Punters Club, Louis. You've got to stay well clear of it. Hey, look, thanks for your time. Thanks for coming on the leg up. We appreciate all you do for racing. And we're looking forward to you having a big week come Cup Week with the SENZ Punters Club. Thanks, mate.
Can someone unmute Hunty? I think you might be caught on mute.
Hard to get a word in when you're next to Paul.
Cheers, boys.
Trying to do better, can't get no worse. What I done wrong, I done right. It's my darkness, see the sunshine.
Confessional time. We need to have a look back. What we got wrong, boys, in the last 7 days. Come to you first, BP. What do you need to confess to our viewers?
Right, my confession's a little bit of a different one because I took the old dirty field in a quaddie, and sometimes you get the favourite winning in a quaddie when you take the field, but thankfully I was able to get the one day right where a horse who had an alphabetical letter in its form line and had been recently racing in steeplechase races win a leg of the quaddie when you have taken the field. Of course, I'm talking about Mr. Fahrenheit. Go you good thing, Mr. Fahrenheit. Now, when I was watching the race with Lee Thinnis and we went across the line, I said to him, I've got the field in the quaddie here. I said to him, this horse has to be paying $1,000. Like, surely, Mr. Fahrenheit in a 65 flat race where he was pulled up in a steeplechase race. But look, he paid $71. I was a little bit off the mark, but boy, he was able to boost up that quaddie payment quite nicely. So that was my confession. Taking the dirty field sometimes can pave the way.
That is a worthy confession for a form student such as yourself to be taking field in a quaddie. You should be confessing that. Paul, what do you need to tell us?
Well, last week I was looking for things that didn't actually exist. I was looking for a weakness in Crescetti. Doesn't have one. Not at the moment anyways. So I got Crescetti'd.
You got Crescetti. You thought there was a query at 1400. Is it a query at a mile? That's the question.
Not from what I can see.
No.
No.
Steve, your confession, and is Crescetti going to win at 1600, I suppose? Two questions.
First answer around the confession nest egg, just poor price for me. I priced around about an 8, 9, 10% chance of memory, closed around about 18%. The right had a lot to do with it, which we spoke earlier in the show, Warren Kennedy, but nest egg, second time over ground, overlooked, blinkers added, overlooked, and back on a firm track, overlooked. So just totally got that wrong, and happy to put my hand up, and one of many I make.
Foreplay time, get to the TAB Facebook page, interact with the question, which is your favourite Imperatriz moment, and you could be in to win this $100 four-leg bonus bet multi. With the 4 good things of the weekend, we're going to start with you, BP. What do you got?
Like Lantern Way on the weekend. So top 3 is sitting at a nice juicy 135 to get that foreplay started.
Paulie?
I've gone to the big Rugby World Cup final between the All Blacks and the Springboks, and I've gone under 4.5 tries in the match at $2.10. Now look, there's been 9 Rugby World Cup finals so far. Of those, only twice have we seen more than 2 tries scored in a Rugby World Cup final. So I think that $2.10 represents a wee bit of value. And don't forget, the last time the Springboks and the All Blacks met in a Rugby World Cup final, 1995, no try scored.
Talk about do your research. I'm impressed. This is impressive.
Where'd you get that from?
If only you'd put so much into your actual horse form. Yeah.
Louis Herman Watt told me.
Stevie?
I'll go to Riccarton in the Spring Classic, second thought. I just think he gets the gun run in the map just off a solid clip. He's third up, which he won in that mode last season. Top 4 at $1.45.
Okay, and I've gone to Pukekohe. She's got a sticky barrier draw, but she's going to be booming home is Molly Bloom. Top 4 at $1.60. That $100 multi could return $557. Get to the TAB Facebook page, interact with the leg up question, which is your favourite Imperatriz moment, and you could be in to win that $100 bonus bet 4-leg multi. Okay, guys, best bet time. But before we get to this week's best bets, let's have a look at how we did last week. I can see Pops frothing.
Let's go to race number 2, Tarapa. Giacomo or Giacomo? It's Giacomo, and it's the horse that I do like in race number 2.
But Giacomo is clear by 3. Vino Valentino, I'm a Rich Girl, starting to arrive from Fabulous Girl. He needs the post. Giacomo coming after it now will be I'm a Rich Girl. Giacomo just wanted to veer out late, but will get the win.
I probably need a liaison officer to help me out with my best bets at the moment, to be fair. But I'm going to go to the G and Hickton Funeral Directors Thompson Handicap at Trentham. Race 8, number 1, Bellado Boy.
This is dramatic. This is dramatic in front and down to the line. This is dramatic. We'll get it. Mazzolino second, the line up third.
You'll go to Tarapa. Race 8, the Swainiest Stakes, take 2, number 9, Johnny.
Still Johnny at the 100 metres from Sassy Merlot. Beep is coming after them, and so is Tight Line out wide. Johnny needs the post. Johnny just in front. Keep going. I think he just got this close. Man, it's close. Johnny in a photo with a lunging Beep Habana.
It was a tough use of the highlighter on your best bet last week, Paul. Bellado Boy.
He needed the finishing post about 400 metres earlier.
Okay, time to get to this week's best bets. Well done, BP, with Giacomo. Got the job done. Where are we going this week?
Yeah, look, paid a sweet price too, didn't it, Giacomo? So let's try and find something. It's half that dividend, and it is Lantern Way, who lines up 5%. Hang on a minute, what? Anyway,
you've been done.
Lantern Way is my best bet on the program. Water Creek Stakes, Hawke's Bay Guineas winner last time to the races, and looking for it to go on top again. So there we go. Sorry, I was distracted then.
Yeah, I believe 12% for BP is very respectable, so we'll get that fixed for next week. Paul, looks like you're trying to get back on track with your best bets this week.
Oh boy, I've got to right the ship. So I'm heading down to Riccarton, race 8. I'm sticking with the Te Akau team, Walker, Burgesson, Sam Weatherly to ride. It's business time, a picket fence form line. Boy, if anyone can stop it, I can. Currently $1.84. I'm just looking to right the ship and get back in.
Yeah, you're plus 41 though. Is that correct, that 41?
Plus 41?
Yeah.
Plus 41?
Yeah,
Really?
yeah, you want more? Yeah,
Really?
yeah. I believe that number to be correct. As is the next one. Stephen, your best bet for the weekend, please.
Yeah, I'll go up to Pukekohe, race 2, the open handicap, Desert Lightning. He comes out of that awesome crop from last year in terms of 3-year-olds. Yes, he ran in the Derby last season, but I believe he's a good or / gun sprinter miler. He'll be ready to rock and roll. I think Vinny will show a little bit of intent from a sticky gate. I wouldn't be surprised if he mapped in the first 2 and show his class Desert Lightning.
Yeah, okay, enough money too in the market to suggest he's forward to run a race Desert Lightning, I can assure you. Paul, before we get out of here, promo time. What can we look forward to in the weekend? We've got plenty to look forward to.
Yeah, we sure have.
What about from a promotion perspective?
Bonus back once again, the 4 meetings on Saturday, Riccarton, Pukekohe, the Valley and Randwick, the first 4 races, back a runner, second, third or fourth. You know the deal.
Yeah, I do.
Check out all the T's and C's on the website.
Yeah, okay. And there'll be boosted odds just everywhere. So the boys will be busy. Cox Plate Day.
Cox Plate, Manikato, yeah, there'll be boosted odds all over the place, power plays,
Yeah.
all sorts of things. So I think Robert Well would be very happy.
Yeah. Hopefully we can please Robert and his mum and get something around Prowess and the Crystal Mile. Good luck to all the Kiwi connections in Oz. Okay, BP, time to say goodbye for another week. Where are you tomorrow?
I'm actually studio-based tomorrow. Bevan Sweeney is actually going to help me out with the race meeting of Pukekohe. I've actually done a little Achilles strain, heavy bowling load the last couple of weeks with our Tuesday night cricket. So just going to have to ease off bowling 10 overs on the trot at training and then trying to roll into a game. But anyway, we'll be looking after the coverage with Philippa Morris. Of course, we've got extended coverage on TAB Trackside 1 on Cox Plate Day, so looking forward to that. And one little pointer just to keep in mind with tomorrow's Cox Plate. Of course, there is a world pool, and we've got a Hong Kong horse in there, Romantic Warrior. So just watch those tote markets because, of course, we saw what happened last time. Gold Trip paid $31 on the tote because Romantic Warrior was so heavily backed. Just keep tabs on where that market sits with the tote market for tomorrow's Cox Plate.
As always, he makes a good point, BP. Hopefully that Achilles strain comes right. You're getting old, mate. You're getting old.
He's lying. That was Cole's backyard cricket with his son.
Yeah, 10 overs. I don't know about this 10 overs business. So 2 at best. Okay, boys. Thanks for your efforts as always. Thank you, Paulie. What are you doing on the weekend?
Well, just think crikey, New Zealand cricket must be in absolute strife with their 2 best cricketers out, Williamson and Popplewell. Really
Tough
in
times.
all sorts of trouble. But no, it's a huge, huge weekend, of course. Cox Plate Day, the All Blacks.
All Blacks. We haven't even mentioned the All
Sunday
Blacks.
morning.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to it.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Steve. In the office tomorrow?
In the office, yep. Next week we've got
What have we got?
Tauranga and Trentham, I believe, Fielding Gold Cup Day. But that's in conjunction with the Derby over in Aussie, so big day.
Absolutely. It's a massive day tomorrow. Cox Plate Day, Manikato Day. Go Imperatriz and good luck with all your investments. We'll see you in 7 days' time on The Leg Up.